Radical.
Viewer discretion is advised.
Welcome to Radical Rapid Fire Comment Response for May the 17th through the 23rd, 2021. Short comments, quick replies. Part 2 of 2. Nicholas Sabjak. Search Xbox's DRM setup. Xbox won't install physical games either without connecting to its server first. And I guess there's no fix to this. Really sucks. Yeah, on the Xbox X, apparently you actually have to, number one, your console, unless you plug it in to check with the internet, initially, it's a brick. So in the future, if the Xbox servers go down, it's not going to work. All right? But on games, on physical games, apparently, from my knowledge, I think it has to do a DRM check. So the Xbox has a problem different than the Sony consoles, but arguably worse, just depending on how you look at it. Either way, both the Xbox Series X and S and the PlayStation 5 seem to be consoles that are not built for games preservation in the future. Brian, the whole argument that he bought the Game Boys with affiliate commissions, it's a business write-off, is so aggravating. Yes, it's a business expense, but it comes down to fiscal responsibility. He earned $2,000 and he decides to buy something frivolous at, yeah, it is, yes, but a business expense write-off, but he could have just easily put that money into his house. His business didn't absolutely need those Game Boys. Yes, the business did not need the Game Boys. All right, let's say, whatever you do, let's say you do some ditch digging. Well, you might need a shovel. It's a business expense. How are you going to dig ditches without a shovel? You'd have to get mighty creative. You need a lot of spoons. So, okay, you need a shovel to dig ditches. That man does not need those rare, expensive Game Boys for his YouTube channel. That is fucking laughable. Also, like you said, if he earned $2,000 and he got $2,000, well, go ahead and put that money into the home renovations. You don't need the rare, expensive Game Boys. CAWF Network TV, fictional wrestling show. I think I'd go the selling shirts route if I ever needed funding. This is just a hobby though, so I do it for my own entertainment more than anything. The only money I'd really spend on is the music, and if I can't ever afford it, I'll just work it into the overall storyline like, hey, we're broke. When you talk about music, do you mean like buying licenses to use the music or certain music? I'm not sure. This person has like a fictional wrestling, show on his YouTube channel. Yeah, I mean, that's a good idea if you need the funding. And I told you that I think some shirts connected to your fictional wrestling show might be kind of interesting, Shirts are actual products you can actually sell to people. That's, why I think that's a cool idea for funding, because, you're actually selling something to people. Not just, shout outs or like Discord crap or whatever. No, you're selling products, which is fine. Condizzle. Rick, Scott the Wise just made a movie production without any Kickstarter, without any e-begging, and the quality is high. If you work hard and got talent, you can do fine without any other financial support. My favorite part is when he is going to quit his job at the unemployment office. I didn't see the whole thing. I checked out bits of it. I'm kind of pressed for time, so, asking me to watch an hour-long YouTube upload of any type, it's kind of difficult these days. To be honest, I'd rather just, watch some anime. Just be honest. Not, downing Scott the Woz, but that's a big ask for an hour. Now, I did see the intro and the outro. They seemed movie-ish. But I will say most of the middle just seems like a high-quality YouTube episode, is what I'm saying. So I think saying movie production is being a bit generous. Although what I saw, there were some funny bits. I don't think it's accurate to call it a, in quote, like movie production. Although it's better than the Angry Video Game Nerd movie, I will say that. That's not terribly that difficult, though. Art Bell. This Camelot guy will have fun if he makes claims of extortion. A federal offense, FBI will pay a visit. What? Is that true? Is that really true that the FBI will pay a visit if you make a claim of extortion? I don't know, Art. I'm not sure. Doggone it, that would be kind of crazy, wouldn't it? What would he say? Now, what are y'all doing here? These are my silly. I lie on YouTube is what I do, and these are just silly YouTubes. I'm just lying. You know, what we doing? Get out. I'm just a liar, okay? I'm telling y'all, I'm just a fucking liar on YouTube, all right? How would that go down? I don't know. I don't know. Would he still be in character? Doggone it. That'd be crazy. Dumez, there should be no weight limit for strippers, but a cash limit. If the P-pad is bring the bucks, you must have been drunk when you typed this, all is well, except the big gals that don't bring in the bucks as much, that is a fact. Right. Well, I think that it's pretty obvious, you know, overweight strippers don't get money because people kind of, like a lot of married men, they go away from their overweight wives to go see the young, nubile, you know, hot teenage strippers, you know, working the pole, right? And they imagine that they're working their pole. That's the fantasy. So they pay money to see the strippers, and if you're lucky, sometimes you go back to a room or whatever, you know. They pay money for that entertainment, the dancing, the grinding and whatnot and everything like that. Yeah. So I think it's pretty fair, right? Get yourself in shape, get your body in shape, you know, and then you make some money when you get yourself in shape. You know, I just think it's lazy. You know, showing up as a stripper being, you know, 200-300 pounds. I'm like, no. You know, if I was running a club, I'd be like, no, that ain't gonna work. That ain't gonna work. Sneaky V. Sad hearing about this recently. He never finished the original manga series, and the anime adaptation haven't really scraped the surface of the story, to be honest. Hopefully someone can finish his work if he left notes on the conclusion to the manga. Yeah, you're talking about the passing of the Berserk creator. And yeah, oftentimes that's the case, where the anime adaptation doesn't even scratch the surface of a large manga series. You know, when they're making an anime, I guess it's, you know, it's compressed. Sometimes you don't get to be a really long anime. And I wish I could get my hands on the manga, but I'm sure, especially right now, the prices have to be through the freaking roof on that. GTV Japan. My best memories of Big Lots was back in 1982 when they bought up Atari's liquidation. Dozens of games, all $1 to $3 each. It was awesome. Also, Major League is one of my most quoted movies, especially in the line about getting a pair of white walls in this afternoon. Yeah, so many funny parts of Major League. You know, there's some really great sports movies, and Major League is one of them. It's just hilarious. You know, Charlie Sheen at his best, you know. And talking about Big Lots and liquidations, just in general, if you go to a lot of these stores, these outlet stores, you will find some amazing stuff for next to nothing. You know, there was this one pickup I had the other day. Is that terminology? This one purchase. I'll just call it what it is, a purchase. I got a hat, a brand new hat for $1. It's a $1 hat. A $1 hat. Nothing wrong with it. Just, you know, I guess it was liquidated because maybe, you know, something on it. I don't even know. Sometimes you'll be like, is this really $1? I'm like, shit. You know? Patrice Bryant. I dated a guy once who loved to send pics of his junk. I wanted to say, it looks light. I used to wonder how many more he had on his phone for himself to look at. As for the large stripper girls, I figure maybe guys can get away with throwing food on the stage instead of money. Laugh out loud. That's hilarious. But as to what kind of food to throw, you know, I mean, I would say probably, you know, candy in a bag, maybe Hostess cakes. You know, I mean, you don't want to throw like, you know, food that's actually going to break or bust on the stage. and then the hoss, you know, that hoss will slip up and, you know, fly off the stage. And then maybe take out somebody in the audience. Nobody wants that, you know. You know, one of these big heifers, they could probably take out the front row. So if you're throwing food on the stage, make sure it's something that, you know, won't trip up the stripper. You know, you don't want a stripper tripper food, is what I'm saying. Sean A., you're on the hunt like MGR for some pickups. Right. I'll make this short and sweet. If you notice there might be like changes on the channel to where I don't talk about trim or, you know, even relationships or things like that, or if I do, it's just because I'm a bit compromised because I am on the hunt. And in the future, many of them will be probably listening to things I say on this channel, is what I'm saying. So, I'm a bit compromised by all the trim that I've been getting here lately. And you guys, I'm just telling you right now, if things change around here, blame it on the trim. If anything changes on the channel, blame it on the trim. And man, oh man, it is worth it. I'll just say that. It is worth it. Bellstar. These new consoles are all so bad. I only play PC games now. I gave up on console gaming around 2011. A friend of mine, I asked him what he was going to go with this generation. He started out with a 360, then he switched over to PlayStation 4. I said, "You going to be getting the PlayStation 5 or the Xbox Series X?" And he said, "Man, I just think it's cheaper to go ahead and just build a PC." And I said, "Well, yeah, you can play all the Microsoft games on the PC." So there's that. A lot of people are just going to make some form factor PCs, or just make their own or whatnot, or just get a big workstation PC and play games on that. Because, the biggest thing for consoles was, hey, you know what? The game installs. Well, now you got to install all the games. Oh, no updates. Now you got to update the games. And now I think the final straw is the fact that, well, everything's connected to servers now. So it's basically just a mini PC in a box. You could argue the ecosystem, PlayStation, Xbox, but shit, like I said, if you're an Xbox person, then why not just, build upon a PC, I guess. I don't know. Gnark Illard 420. That Pearl Jam Vitalogy CD must have been found under a shelf in the stockroom. Yeah, it just kind of doesn't fit with everything else because a lot of this other stuff is kind of recent and wasn't even CDs. So I'm looking at them the Pearl Jam Vitalogy CD? I'm yeah. Do you have any of you have any stories working somewhere where you find something maybe from decades ago under a shelf somewhere? That's always an interesting find. P.O. Box Christmas. Do you know that YouTube can flag videos that you've deleted? A channel called The Real Rejects did a video on the other day that went viral. I wasn't sure if you've seen it or not. I saw a little bit of that. Basically what happened was, I can't even recall exactly what happened, but what I took from it was that YouTube still holds on to your uploads even after you delete them. It still holds on to them. And he asked a question, so several years ago, can YouTube get rid of something or give a strike to somebody that had an upload that they deleted from several years ago? And he might have been talking to a bot. Might not have been talking to a real person, but the answer apparently was yes, which I don't know how that works. Does that mean actually when you delete a YouTube upload, it still stays on the server forever? Joe Rogan. I have a pretty big PS3 collection. Do you guys think I should sell them while they're hot or hold on to them a bit longer? Wait for more news to come out? I stay a generation or two behind for exactly this reason. Still enjoying my 360 and PS3. Yeah, a lot of people still enjoying their 360 and PS3. I will say, Joe, that the PS3 and Xbox 360 are the last console generations. By that I mean they're the last console generations to where you can put games in and actually expect them to work while not being connected to the internet. So collectors take note, in the future. I don't know when the good appropriate time to offload games would be, but at some point, I would look into maybe offloading a lot of games, specific games like Deliverance. I think that was an online only game. Some of these online only games, you want to probably try to offload them before other ones. Silver Music Box. Amazing series in every way. Never expected it to end like this. Talking about Berserk and its creator. Maybe he had that thought going through his mind. People never really expect things to end certain ways. Sometimes things happen like you expect, but like the end. Someone in a car wreck probably goes through your mind. I've thought about how my life would end, and I would probably say that same thing. You never know. Maybe a stray bullet, maybe a stray gunshot from somewhere. You ever walk by a house and see a bullet hole where you're like, how the heck did that bullet get there? But I don't know, if I had to take a guess, mean, it's kind of dark to take a guess on how your life will end. I don't know, giant car crash on the interstate. Man, I just have like an interstate phobia, right? I don't know what it is. It's just like, unless you're driving like a brand new fresh car on the interstate, a lot of these cars have issues nowadays, and they fail. You know, they're not built like they used to be. I know that's a phrase people use a lot, but no, these current cars with all the electronics and being dependent on certain systems, they're not built like they used to be. And if I had to take a wild guess, probably my life might end abruptly on the interstate in a giant car crash. I don't know why I say that. Just, you never know when things are going to end. Sometimes things just end abruptly and you're in the middle of something and you have no idea. That's just how life is. So, on to the next comment.